I couldn't begin to fathom the sheer amount of size and strength I'd gained over the past few hours. It was almost too much to process. I kept touching myself, running my hands over my arms, chest, shoulders, and waist just to convince myself that it was all real and that I wasn't trapped inside some bizarre dream. I walked towards the bathroom and stared at my reflection in the mirror, trying to grow accustomed to this new version of myself. It was overwhelming. Then my thoughts drifted towards Neil. I could already picture him practically drooling at the sight of me. I'd have him eating out of the palm of my hand, and all the nonsense he'd been pulling lately would become a thing of the past. There would be no casually walking away from me anymore. More likely, he'd want to stay with me so badly that I'd have to tell him, "Neil, shouldn't you be heading home? It's already 3 in the morning." And he'd reply, "Come on, isn't it still a little early?" I couldn't wipe the smile off my face. This time things would happen on my terms, not his. If he started acting up, I'd simply shut him down before he even finished speaking. I imagined effortlessly overpowering him if he ever dared disrespect me again or tried pulling another wham bam thank you man before disappearing from my life. Not this time. This time he would be exactly where I wanted him. If he started wanting too much too soon, I'd simply keep him wanting more until he learned where he stood. I couldn't help laughing at myself. Listen to me. Here I was imagining turning Neil into my own personal project simply because I'd suddenly become twice the man I used to be. The fantasy continued running through my head. If he ever decided to disappear again or came up with another ridiculous excuse before running back to women, I'd confidently walk right up to him and his date, expose what he was doing, and show him he couldn't simply pretend I didn't exist. The mental image became more and more ridiculous. I pictured grabbing his hand, squeezing it firmly enough to get his attention, and giving him the sort of glare that made it crystal clear I wasn't amused. Really, Neil? The thought alone made me laugh. Was I taking this fantasy way too far? Probably. But after everything he'd put me through, I figure I had earned at least a few minutes of imaginary revenge. What do you all think? Was I having too much fun with this? Meanwhile, on the other side of town, I had spent the past several months preparing to compete in a natural bodybuilding competition. Then, completely out of nowhere, everything changed.
I almost don't fit.
I was practicing my posing routine in my living room, music playing in the background while I timed each transition to make sure I had enough time to showcase my best features during the men's open bodybuilding competition. Without warning, I blacked out. Several hours later, I woke up lying on my living room floor with an unbearable headache. Something immediately felt wrong. I was nauseated. I had a slight fever. My head throbbed.
Too small.
As I reached towards the couch to pull myself up, I noticed that my hand could extend more than what I was expecting it to.
This bathroom is...
It took me several minutes to understand what had happened. Still dizzy and unbelievably weak, I grabbed whatever furniture I could reach and slowly stood up. Everything around me felt smaller.
Wow. This room is too small.
The ceiling smoke detectors brushed against the tips of my head's hair. The doorway seemed unusually short. Even my bed no longer fit my body, leaving my lower legs hanging over the edge of the mattress. Confused, I stumbled into the bathroom to wash my face. As I looked around, everything appeared miniature. The sink, the faucet, the toilet, the shower. After several hours of measuring myself against everyday objects, panic finally began to set in. I had absolutely no idea what had happened or what I was supposed to do next.
I can't even see my face in the mirror.
Over the following weeks, I gradually adapted to my new reality. Eventually, I decided it was time to leave the house, meet someone new, and simply enjoy myself again. Living in a world designed for average-sized people presented challenges I'd never imagined. Driving required removing the driver's seat and stacking cushions against the backrest. Finding clothes large enough became nearly impossible. Working out demanded constant improvisation. Showering meant using a garden hose and heating water outdoors. Eating became a full-time occupation, making warehouse stores my new favorite places. Even using the toilet required a surprising amount of creativity. What had initially felt like a nightmare gradually became manageable through patience, ingenuity, and a good sense of humor. Still, living at nearly 430 pounds in a world built for much smaller people could be exhausting. There were advantages, of course. I never needed a ladder to reach the highest shelf at home improvement stores. Organizing the cabinets in my kitchen became effortless. Cleaning the upper shelves of my closet was almost enjoyable. And if my car ever became stuck in the mud, I could simply shift it into neutral and push it free myself. Of course, I never competed in the natural bodybuilding show I had been prepping for. Who in the right mind would believe I was still natural looking like this? Besides, I was still busy discovering whether ordinary household furniture could safely support my weight. Enough about that though. Let's get to the interesting part, the nightclub. I searched online for the hottest club in the city and decided that was exactly where I was headed. When I arrived, the bouncer looked me up and down for a moment before silently stepping aside. Apparently, arguing with someone my size wasn't high on his list of priorities. Inside, I ordered a bottle of water and began scanning the crowd. I wasn't looking for anything serious, just a good conversation and maybe a casual hookup. That's when I noticed him. Handsome little guy who seemed to have arrived with another man. Now, opportunities in the eye of the beholder. He was far too attractive to ignore. Still, I wasn't about to jump to conclusions. Were they boyfriends, friend with benefits, best friends, blind date, casual hookups, or simply two friends enjoying a night out? I watched them for several minutes. The little guy smiled at nearly everyone who approached him. If they weren't life partners, he was fair game.
We really need to finalize the deal.
I wandered over and struck the casual conversation. Within minutes, we were laughing together. He introduced himself. Neil. Interesting. The more we talked, the less attention he seemed to pay the man he had arrived with. Unfortunately, his companion had begun noticing the same thing.
I think we have them exactly where we want them.
He kept shooting Neil irritated glances before finally walking over. I'm just making a conversation with your friend, I said casually. It's a free country after all. I grinned. Hate the game, not the player. The larger man looked ready to argue but quickly thought better of it after sizing me up. Instead, he redirected his frustration toward Neil. A few minutes later, Neil accepted my invitation to grab a drink at the bar. Whether it was curiosity, chemistry, or simply survival of the fittest, I'd managed to steal him away. I was already imagining the rest of the evening unfolding back at one of our places.
They are hilarious. Seriously, I spent all morning watching them.
Somehow, the night just kept getting better. Every now and then though, Neil's phone lit up with new messages. Don't forget to bring some wine tomorrow. Interesting. Was Neil playing both sides? Or was that simply a friend texting him? Before I had time to think much more about it, I sensed someone watching us. I glanced sideways. Across the bar stood another man. He was every bit my size, every bit my build. And judging by the expression on his face, he was about to interrupt our evening.